Hello everyone, Big Clinky here to just give a bit of an update on the situation and how things are going as far as video progress. So, I hope most of you have seen the comment that I made on my most recent video mentioning that I kind of relapsed back into my sickness symptoms a few weeks ago, so I had to really focus on getting rid of those before I could do anything, because seriously, I'd been sick for about a month and a half, so I really needed to do something about it. Last week, I wasn't really able to record because not only did I still have those lingering symptoms, I had to take a course of incredibly strong antibiotics, which made me feel even worse. But that is over now, and hopefully I seem to be feeling a lot better now. So I really hope that's the last we've seen of that, and that'll be it. Unfortunately, some people in my life have also got sick with separate things lately, so I really hope that I don't get sick again, but that is a definite possibility which would be incredibly frustrating. As of now, technically nothing's really stopping me from going back to make videos. Unfortunately, I've been hit with a case of the worst timing ever because just as I start feeling better, my grandma's got really sick and has had to go into the hospital, and because of that, the situation at home is very stressful and hectic at the moment. This is in addition to the fact that since my mum's workplace, actually stops work for a whole week during the Christmas period, the lead up to Christmas for her is a very hectic and stressful time in general, and this is only making it worse, so with all this stress around, it can be very hard to concentrate, and because of that, it's gonna be extremely hard for me to make videos in the next few days. I know it's annoying, it's the worst possible timing, but sometimes things like this just happen. Everything is basically just conspired against me making videos at the moment, but things will improve. They will improve. Hopefully. Just bear with me and be patient, please. I just want to say that nobody is more upset about this whole situation than I am. I really want to get back into making videos. You have no idea how much I want to start recording again. It's just that everything seems to be conspiring against it, but it's just, I really love recording, and I know that a lot of you really look forward to some of my videos. Persona 3 is getting pretty decent response so far, and I really want to go back into recording that. I really do. So, just trust me, I really do want to get back to this, and I will as soon as I can. Just be patient for just a little while longer. On the Persona 3 front, I actually will say, I have the next Tartarus session already recorded. I recorded those 2 videos before I started feeling sick again, which is 2 weeks ago now, so I'm actually going to be discussing things in the video that are going to seem quite outdated. The reason I didn't upload them earlier is because I felt that it might be a bit awkward to have just a couple of videos and then me going on a big giant break again. So, I wanted to save those until I was ready to start recording again, just so they wouldn't be as big a gap. But if you guys want me to upload those 2 now, I can do that. So, tell me in the comments if you do want those. In fact, I'm probably going to upload them in the next few days anyway, because I feel like it's about time we had some more activity here. For the future, something kind of weird is coming up with Persona 3. September 1st is going to be possibly the longest non-combat day ever. There are about 5 things that I can fit into that day, and only one of them is a social link, and there is also a brief plot event that day. So I almost feel like that might be one of the few non-combat days in the entire game that's going to be entirely its own part. Because, yeah, I can get several Elizabeth requests done, a social link, something else, and there's also a plot event. And that's not even counting the fact that I could go into the police station and buy some new equipment. I'm long overdue for an armor upgrade on Aigis. I think I need to buy something for her. Oh, and the next full moon boss, I practiced ahead, it's not going to be too bad. It's going to be pretty easy, so I'm not worried about that in the slightest. The reason why I want to make sure that I'm as well as possible before I record that is some really good plot stuff is about to happen, and I really want to be in the right mind when that happens, so that's why. On the other recording fronts, some of you may know about a mysterious secret project that I'm working on at the moment. I have made information about it as scarce as possible because I am absolutely desperate to avoid spoilers. But what I can tell you is, it is extremely close to being done now. Extremely close. I'm like right at the very, very tail end of the tail end. I was actually hoping for this to have been done a long time ago. I was actually hoping to have it finished early November, but that was when I started getting sick, and that really impeded recording progress on that. Suffice to say, it's a game that I need to be very mentally focused to actually play, and because of that, there were some long stretches of time where I recorded a few videos of it here and there, spaced out, but yeah, when I was starting to feel better from my symptoms. So, here's the reason why I'm specifically mentioning the Secret Project here. I have a backlog of about 40-ish videos for it, and normally, now would be the perfect time to upload from it. Being a period of 2 weeks where I didn't record anything else, normally this would be perfect. The thing is, I still really think that holding off on uploading anything until I'm completely done with recording this is the best choice. Because this is a game where you really don't want spoilers. If I get spoiled on this, I may as well not play it at all. And while I trust the vast majority of commenters, I still got a lot of spoiler comments on my Fire Emblem Fates run, even though I specifically had giant spoiler warnings at the start of every video. And something that I really don't trust is YouTube-related video thumbnails. Those are absolute death to these kind of projects, and I really want to avoid them where possible. The thing is, I'm actually totally done with the main story. I'm just on one extra bit, but I would really appreciate not being spoiled on that. Trust me, getting my reactions to everything in this game without spoilers is going to be worth it, so I'm still holding out a little bit longer just to make sure that I am absolutely spoiler-free. Once I'm done with that, then I'll finally make an official announcement as to what that is. So that's something to look forward to. Although I'll point this out, don't worry, Persona 3 will not be going on another big hiatus until that's done. I plan on releasing the Secret Project videos more like maybe a few videos on the weekends every week, and if Persona 3 ever gets a little behind, I might double up on uploads for that. Those videos are usually only about 30 minutes each, so I can afford to do 2 a day, so I can easily double up on those. I can keep the same pace going with Persona 3, as well as upload bits of this one too. So, I have a plan for this. But, if in any eventuality I have a large stretch of time where I'm not able to record Persona 3, and the Secret Project is done, then I'll make that my regular upload. So, yeah, just bear in mind, I do have a plan. Persona 3 is definitely not going to be put on hold for that. And that's pretty much all I wanted to say about that. I guess just a few random final things here. I've obviously been playing Pokemon Moon a lot over the past few weeks, and yeah, I really enjoyed the game. Definitely a big step up over X and Y to me. From what I've heard, the game is actually very polarizing. It generally falls into the category of, if you hated X and Y, you love Sun and Moon, but if you loved X and Y, you won't like Sun and Moon as much. From what I feel the general indication is, the main story is universally agreed to be vastly superior to X and Y, but there's a pretty large contingent of Pokemon fans who don't care about the main story, and for that, they like X and Y's non-main story features better. I totally understand that. I actually agree. In a lot of respects, some of X and Y's EV training features, some of it, especially its multiplayer communication features, are definitely better than Sun and Moon's. Sun and Moon's linking is extremely confusing. I've had that problem a lot. Sun and Moon's new EV training method does work once you get used to it, but it does take a lot of getting used to, and it's less mindless than some other forms of EV training, so you need a little bit of concentration. So often I liked EV training while I was like watching TV or doing something else in the background. That's a bit harder to do now, because you need to concentrate a little bit more. I'll stop for now and put the rest of my thoughts in a final thoughts on Sun and Moon set of videos, which I did promise that I'd do. The thing is, I've got a lot I want to say about these games, and because of that, I'm really going to need to gather my thoughts. I might even need to script some videos, which I don't usually do, because yeah, I need to make sure that everything is consolidated properly, that I don't go on too long, and that I say everything that I want to say. So that's going to take me a while to think about, and now that I have beaten all the post-game quests, I'm now ready to start thinking about working on my final thoughts on the game, but it might take a little bit. Again, just I need to consolidate everything. But I guess I can also say that finally I've actually started breeding now that basically what I did first was I caught some Ultra Beasts and a couple of Legendaries because you can soft reset for them for good IVs without breeding. Yeah, that made one of the post-game quests a lot more annoying than it should have been, having to soft reset for every single thing, but anyway. So I did that to get a bunch of battle-ready Pokemon immediately, EV trained them, just used them just completely casual, scrubbishly in the battle tree, just spamming them, not really caring much whether I get a long streak or not, to get enough battle points to get a Destiny Knot, and all the power items I need. Now that I do have that, I'm finally starting breeding, and I'm really enjoying it again. In fact, since the Oval Charm is so much easier to get, it's actually been a lot more convenient for me. So, at the moment, I've bred Rowlets, I've bred several with different natures, and I've worked on Wimpods a little bit, and now I'm currently working on Marinis, after some very, very, very nice person, thank you so much whoever you are, gave me a Regenerator Marini with Haze off of a Wonder Trade, one of the few good Wonder Trades that I've actually got, but I do feel like if you want to get into Wonder Trade, you might want to do it now. Now is the time that people are actually starting to really get into breeding. Because of this, it's more common that you'll get breeding rejects, which are excellent starting points for your own breeding projects. So I recommend do it now, because it's getting a little bit past the period where you start seeing just people shoving out early game crap, like, you know, Pick-a-Pecks and Young Gooses and things like that. You still see those occasionally, not quite as much, and it's not so late into the game's lifespan that Wonder Trade is just clogged with hackers. So, if you want a Wonder Trade, I'd recommend doing it now, actually. Why am I going on about this? Well, I wanted to share a few stories about how my luck continues to be, well, my luck, and how the RNG continues to be a troll as always. So, for one, when I was actually getting the Dittos that I needed to start breeding, chaining Dittos and things like that, I found a pretty decent method for doing it using a False Swipe Komo-o, which can reliably 1-hit KO anything that comes in with Sky Uppercut. Fortunately has less than perfect accuracy, but usually it's accurate enough that you can use its PP as a counter. But then I discovered the law of SOS battles. Whenever you want something to call for help, they actually won't. But when you don't want something to call for help, they will call for help constantly. Yeah, took me literally half an hour to catch a single Oranguru in my main playthrough, but post-game, I had a Ditto that was about to struggle, and I was just like, come on, please, just call one more Ditto, one more, I need one more. It fails to call for help 5 times in a row and proceeds to struggle to death. Yeah, not making that up. It was at 1 HP and I'd used an Adrenaline Orb, by the way. Second thing of trolling is synchronizing for legendaries. This was weird for me because, so, Synchronize is supposed to have a 50% chance of the Pokemon that you find having the same nature as your lead, which I've been using for legendaries. The thing is, if you're me, Synchronize generally only works about 10% of the time. I found that when I was trying to synchronize for a hasty name redacted, I got pretty much everything but hasty before I actually got a hasty one. In fact, one of the earlier things I ended up getting was... Okay, these are slight Pokemon spoilers. If you haven't beaten the game, you might not want to watch this part, but I had to take a photo of this. I got this timid-natured name redacted. And I was like, sure, I need a timid one anyway, I'm going to keep this. Later on, I managed to catch a later name redacted that had nearly perfect everything. Except it was quiet nature. So, you would not want perfect speed. Of course, trolling RNG, of course. Oh, and I wasn't even synchronizing for quiet, by the way. So, yeah, that's just a few random thoughts about things I've been doing at the moment. I guess while we're on the subject, I'm, I guess, a little more than 2/3 of the way, maybe even 3/4 of the way through Trials of Cold Steel 2. and I recently realized that I missed a character profile. I've been getting every single character profile so far, thanks to having... Yeah, I'm using a guide for my first playthrough, but only because I want to make sure that I get all the character profiles to get that trophy. I realized that I missed one. So, yeah. I mean, you have to do 2 playthroughs to platinum the game anyway, so it's not the end of the world, but it was still incredibly frustrating. And I've also been playing a bit more of Digital Devil Saga. I think I'm getting towards the end. I'm up to the start of the Brute's base, I believe. But now I've just gone back and used the coloured keys to open up all the force fields to get some other stuff and fight some of the bonus bosses. King Frost gave me more trouble than I thought he would. I was like, oh yeah, the throwing up a Void Ice Shield is going to make sure that he can't do much to me. And then he's like, oh, okay, heavy physical attacks. Interesting. And then I'm like, alright, I can use fire to get more press turns. Oh, he nulls fire. Okay, then. I guess I shouldn't have expected a bonus boss in the game known for having the hardest bonus boss in the history of RPGs to be easy. Yeah, I'm not even up to that yet. I don't even want to think about that yet. And I am planning on doing a playthrough of the game, so I'm actually going to have to beat that guy on camera someday. But that's for much, much later. So, anyway, just as a heads up, videos might still be a few more days before they start again. I really don't know how things are going to go with the whole Grandma situation, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. There's always a possibility that things might go on hold again a little bit, but I'm going to try and get as much of the secret project done as possible so that I have a backup in case something happens. I can put that up. But anyway, thank you all for continuing to follow this channel. I'm so sorry that I haven't been able to put out videos the past few weeks. I really hope you can forgive me. But I'll hopefully see you again soon.